to talk about the Proverbs, the last verse in Proverbs, in the Old Testament reading. And of course, I will start with story, as I always do. And this story is about second chapter in Genesis, when Adam was there in the Garden of Eden, and he was naming all the animals. As you remember, his job was naming all the animals. And he was busy at that, naming all the animals. But he was actually bored, really bored. So Jesus said, God said, I'm going to bring to you a companion. And he asked all the animals to go in front of him. And he said, that's not the one. So finally God says, I'm going to make you a companion for you. And according to this story, this companion will always agree with Adam. He was going to always serve Adam and clean his house and bake his meal. And no matter what, this companion, he was always going to allow Adam to have the last word. And Adam said to God, oh boy, that's great. And what is that going to cost me? And God said, an arm and a leg. And Adam says, well, what would I get for a rib? And the rest is history. Well, the idea is we have a different insight in our life, but the interesting thing that we have in this insight with a magnifier, with a light. So it's a symbol of just looking in. But this looking in goes way beyond the surface, because in order to have insight, the text in Proverbs tells us insight in the way we walk and in the way we live. So this insight, to live with insight, was something very important, because it was looking out and looking in. You see, you look out and you look in. And so what we do in that process is learning to discern. So it's kind of the magnifier with the light, but we look at the world and we look at ourselves, learning to discern. And we discover things. And in this case, we want to discover things in the life and the people around us, in ourselves, but those insights were already in the Bible, because this is how we get to learn how thousands of generations of people who were faithful put this text as they understood and heard God saying to them. So, in order to do that, we'll go to spiritual tradition. What spiritual tradition? It's how we use the scripture to grow spiritually, to learn how to walk and how to live in the way of insight, leaving behind immaturity. That's what Proverbs says, leaving behind immaturity. So what are the spiritual traditions? I have to tell you that I wanted to spend a week in a monastery in the Twin Cities. And in that monastery, we have the incredible fortune of having a monk that was unexpectedly visiting that monastery. That monk was Basil Pennington. At that time, I didn't know who he was. He was a director of the Trappist monks in the monastery in Hong Kong at that time. And as he was there in Hong Kong with another monk by the name of Thomas Kitty, they developed listening prayer, but they have been using, before listening prayer, for many, many, many centuries, a process that's called Lectio Divina. So Lectio Divina was a way of discovering what was hidden in the text of the Bible. Lectio Divina. And Lectio Divina, Basil Pennington trained us. They help us to understand, he and his assistants, to understand how to make this reading that goes in the insight in the scripture that can allow us to get the meaning. This method is Lectio, Meditatio, Oratio, Contemplatio. The Lectio Divina was developed around the year 200. Long time. 1200 years before Luther was born, they were practicing the Lectio Divina in the monastery. And this has been the way that the monks studied throughout the Middle Ages the scriptures. And we're going to talk about the basics of Lectio Divina. And I'm going to put in 10 minutes what I learned in a whole week. But we will practice to understand what is Lectio Divina. And so the first thing is reading, Lectio. Reading the text. And we read the text in a very special way. We read the text slowly. A small portion of the text. And after that, we meditate. Meditation is just thinking in our head, what is this telling us? The meditation, the meditatio, is helping us to get into the text and try to be not just thinking something that's going to happen, something that happened in the past. We open ourselves in the meditation to see what insights God gives us. Then we have the prayer, the oratio. And in the prayer, what we have is a conversation with God. You see, conversation with God is a way of talking about prayer that we are not used to. We talk to God, it's like we're having a conversation, like some people do. They call you on the phone, they talk, and they say, okay, I gotta go, and they hang up, and you go like, you didn't have a chance to answer, to respond. Have you had anybody like that? Yeah? Well, they just want to say something, they said it, and they hung up the phone. Well, God feels the same way when we pray. We pray, and then, amen, and we go on our way. The prayer, the oratio, is coming in a way that we have this two-way communication about what we found out in meditation, and we ask God. And then we go to the contemplation, the fourth element. And the contemplation is allowing God to truly show us what is in there. So, in order to learn about this, I did some tents for you. And so you can have it wherever you read the Bible. Wherever you read the Bible, you could have the tent. So I need help to distribute the tents. Somebody can help me distribute this? Okay, got two. Thank you. And in the tent, you will have an explanation of each one of the steps. And as we go in the explanation, we will do it better with some music. And in the Global Mission event in Eau Claire, Wisconsin, a priest from Haiti taught the Lectio Divina, and he taught us to do these 4 steps. I'm not on the screen now.
There you go.
There. So, reading, meditation, pray, contemplation. Reading, meditation, pray, contemplation. Let's bring it. Reading, meditation, pray, contemplation. Let's bring it. Reading, meditation, pray, contemplation. And reading, meditation, pray, contemplation. Reading, meditation, pray, contemplation. So that was a way that we had to learn the 4 steps. So first of all, you read the Bible, then you You pray, but in the way that you pray, before that you need to have what to pray about. The meditation gives you the content of that prayer. And then God answers, and that is the contemplation. They talk about adding a step in contemplation, like action, but the idea is those steps are printed in your text. Read a passage slowly, read it silently or loud. Then in meditation, listen for a word or phrase to stand out. Stay with it. Repeat it to yourself. And the praying, how does this word, phrase speak into your life today? Allow the connection to become a natural conversation with God. And then you stop in the contemplation. You find that you receive a gift from God. It's a time for stillness. True contemplation not always occur because, you try to stop thinking, a lot of thoughts will come to your mind. It's like I tell you, do not think of a pink elephant. Whatever happens, do not think about a pink elephant. And the images come to you. So the idea is, that may happen, but it is the delight of the sense of timelessness, the inner awe of the beauty or love or wisdom. Or this wisdom will come from God. So the idea is those 4 steps are the ones that gives you the sense of this spiritual practice. And I am actually suggesting that you do this spiritual practice. But in order to know how we're going to do it, we are going to practice with today's gospel. So the way we normally read this, I am the living bread that came down from heaven. Whoever eats of this bread will live forever. And the bread that I will give for the life of the world is my flesh. Logically, this makes no sense. It's kind of, what does it mean? But if we read, we just did the reading, let's take a very short moment for meditating. And as you heard, listen. With eyes open or closed, you can choose. But there's a word that jumps out of the text. It could be flesh. It could be life of the world. It could be my flesh. But this word that jumps to you. Take a moment to eat this word and make it a part of yourself. And after that, you pray. And you ask God to let you know what this word means in the text. What insight comes to you after you read a word or that phrase. And then you go to the 4th step, the contemplation. That will tell you how that is relevant for you here in the situations you're going through. You contemplate. You open your mind and allow God to show you the way you need to live, the way you need to have an insight of that word in your life. The way you need to walk, and the way you need to live. So, this is my suggestion, is your homework. Your homework is try it. You can use the text from today. You can use it any text that you want. And this is a spiritual practice. So one of the things that you need to do in the spiritual practice to put your phone in silent, to turn off the TV. Try to be as quiet as possible. Create the place where you will have a conversation with God. and you need a little help, spiritual is connected to your breathing. So you can connect with the text as you start connecting with your own breathing. And then you read. After you read, you have a meditation. And then you ask God for guidance, and you have this conversation. And then you listen to God inside of yourself. That's your homework. People, especially the monks, have been doing this for 1,800 years. And they're still doing it.